Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Factorio with the HardCrafting Mod installed. I am your host Alex and you're watching FCOD Gaming. So here's the deal. Our copper plant, although it is putting out quite a decent amount of copper, is just not keeping up with our demands. And I've been researching all the things that I could possibly want before I research rocket silo, because oh my god, that is expensive. Um, let's see here. Probably logistics 3, maybe. That's maybe. Probably robot follower count first. I don't know. But let's go up here and kind of take a look at what's going on. By the way, I'm going to be expanding copper in one way or another this episode, just so you know. But yeah, we kind of have, well, every once in a while we'll have a lull in copper production, and that's because the belt gets clogged with like gravel or slag or whatever. And that's fine, but as you can see, I have this split off so that half of the copper goes into the logistics network, half of it goes into our science production. And it's just not keeping up. I mean, our iron's not really keeping up either, but it's at least close. I mean, really the main thing that's sucking up all the iron is the steel production. And the big thing that's sucking up all the copper right now is our logistics network making circuits for processing units, which are going into the Tier 3 modules. Also, I'm almost out of, well, not almost, but I'm kind of getting low on alien artifacts, so I probably should go on a hunting trip at some point. So yeah, I need to figure out something with our copper production, because our iron production would be easy enough to fix, because we're making, with our logistics network copper or iron production, we're making actually more than we're using right now. As you can see, there's almost 5,000 iron in reserve up there, which might actually not be a bad idea to do that now. Why don't I do that? So we'll drop down a couple requester chests here. Like so. They're going to request to have, let's say 500 iron. Copy those settings over, and we'll just put some fast inserters down here. And the traditional iron processing should take priority over that. Hopefully. Yeah, it looks like it is. So these guys are just going to kind of fill in the blanks as the iron goes by. And that should be okay. Oh, what is getting destroyed? Okay. So that should be perfectly fine. Now, copper, on the other hand, isn't quite as easy. Because we're using it just as fast as we can pump it into the system. So what I'm going to have to do, I think, well, first off, we're not getting enough materials delivered to really be as effective as we could be. Because if you look down here, pretty much right after the train leaves, everything's depleted, except for this one box, which I've been kind of trying to spread those resources out so that they get distributed. But yeah, for the most part, it's not really doing what I want it to do. Now, I have expanded the inserters that take ore off the line, and that has helped a little bit. I actually just did that, so that's probably not even balanced out yet. But yeah, as you see, there's like a wave of ore, a wave of slag, a huge wave of gravel. Wow. And yeah, so it ends up kind of having a feast or famine effect, more or less. And that's just not great. So I think what we're going to do, that was the train that I wanted to catch. But we'll wait for that train to come back around. And first off, we're going to add another wagon. Now, I can probably figure out how to do that just right here. Let's see. And those are 6 there. Might have to move that one to the other end, but that shouldn't be the end of the world. And we'll see if we can use just one belt. I have a feeling that I might have to branch it off and kind of do something with smart inserters to kind of make it flow a little bit more freely. But yeah, the biggest thing that I want to do right now... Okay, let's pause this for a second. And we're going to throw that back on there. Let's turn all of these off and see if that first inserter actually does what it's supposed to. And it is. Okay. And actually, if I was smart about it, I would use smart inserters, which I might do, actually. Just in case we have to add another train in here at some point. This is kind of just future-proofing it. Alright. So we've got that end of it figured out. Let's go ahead, go up to our Dr. Horrible sing-along station. Jesus Christ. I really need to take out some of these nests. Driving me nuts. Okay, so we're going to pause that. This, I believe, is a red belt, right? Yeah, okay. So we are going to just have 6 right there. Throw down another power pole. We'll expand this belt out like so. Do something like that. And something like that. And hopefully we've got enough mining going on that that'll actually help. Maybe not. I don't know. Could probably add another smart inserter since we are missing dirt every once in a while. So we'll do something like that. We'll wait until this is full. Which might take a little bit. Hopefully that won't be an issue once we kind of get these boxes filled up. I don't think it will be. Yeah, I'm going to have to upgrade some of these belts too, because not all of these mines are running, and as we're picking up full speed, we're not using all of the mines. Also, I need to take out some of them that are empty. But we'll worry about that here in a second. Alright, so now we're full. Great. Let's go back to base. God. Am I gonna have to go back there right away and fucking take care of that? If shit keeps getting destroyed up there, I'm gonna have to just turn around and deal with that. But we'll see if that's even an issue first. Alright, so we're going to pause this right away. Actually, no. Let it run. And we'll kind of see if this actually improves anything, or if it just adds to the wave-like nature that's going on with with all that. Because the state that I would like to get to is having this belt completely full of gravel and iron ore at pretty much at all times. Which isn't going to happen if there's a huge wave of gravel like that. I don't really get why that's a thing that happens. Because you would think the belts would just do their own thing randomly, right? Or the inserters, instead of grabbing the same thing every single time. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Alright, and so we have a wave of ore. Oops, I was thinking I had to go over to the door. And that keeps it pretty much full. But then our iron gets, or not our iron, our gravel gets used up here, which I guess isn't a big deal. That's the whole point of that box, but then we have another huge wave of gravel. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what I need to do to have this, pretty much this, happen all the time. Which may or may not even be an option, I don't know. But it seems like a good thing to have happen, right? I don't know. Hopefully these inserters that aren't on the loop don't end up screwing me over. I don't think they will. Because eventually we're going to run out of ore down here. These inserters will stop going. And then these will start having to go, right? In theory. Yeah, so that's exactly what's happening right now. Shut up. Alright, so we're pulling more gravel, which is great. A huge wave of gravel, Jesus. We're at least keeping the belt full now, which is good. That's really, really good, actually. Alright. We're pulling more ore, which really is a good thing. So I'm trying to figure out if there's a way that I can pull just the ore off of that main line and not have it just be the same thing, if that makes any sense at all. Which I don't know if it does. Alright, so let's try something crazy here. I'm going to throw a belt right here. Kind of run it down this way. We're going to have a line of, let's just go with 3 smart inserters. We're going to have that feed into boxes. Let's limit those boxes to just 2 stacks each for right now. And have that belt run this way. We'll have fast inserters coming off of that. Kind of power that up a little bit. And these smart inserters are just going to pick up copper ore. And we'll see how that affects things. So what I'm trying to do, really, is just have it so that, I mean, this loop still takes priority, but this is going to always feed this line with copper ore. And we kind of have a buffer here, more or less. And this is going to be more primarily gravel and slag. Hopefully. Maybe. Who knows? But I mean, as of right now, we're actually doing a pretty good job of keeping this belt full. And I think that's mostly because of this extra wagon. It's kind of hard to tell. Alright, I mean, it is working. It's definitely working. It's not as big of a buffer as I would like, but it is giving us buffer. So maybe that's a thing that we can do to kind of help things. Alright, and these are filling up, so that's good. Alright, so the next thing that I want to do, because this line isn't really keeping up on copper sulfate, I say that it's all my factories are going, but it's not really. Let's go ahead and add one more pulverizer down here, kind of see how that affects the system. We'll do that. We'll set the ingredient to U. These are all red belts, except for this one there. So let's go ahead. Do something like that. And we'll also add a speed module to U, just because that's what all the cool pulverizers are doing. Also, these only have one inserter, which I don't remember if that actually made a difference, but might as well add them on. And in theory, that should keep all of these running. In theory. which it kind of looks like that's the case. Which, if one of these gets backed up, that's not the end of the world at all. I'm perfectly okay with that. The only way that we actually run into problems is if all of them get backed up, which I don't really see being a problem. But yeah, that definitely seems to be helping our output. In fact, we may actually have too much output on this half. May have to rig up something like this over here. Alright, so that's actually looking pretty good for what we've got going on. Hopefully that's going to be enough to kind of balance out up here. Let's see, once we get up here, what it looks like. We may have to upgrade this to red belts, which I'm really not looking forward to if that's the case, because that's just going to be a pain in the ass. Alright, and it does at least appear initially that we're getting a lot more copper up here, because a lot more is getting through here. Our iron is about to overflow, or get backed up, however you want to say it. Yeah, and we're actually, look at that. We're actually catching back up, which is awesome. Okay, so why is our research sucking right now? Let's kind of look into that. Is that just blue science that's not doing too well? Yeah, it looks like it. Now, I did take off that kind of supplemental green science thing that I had over here. And I might have to put that back in. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's request... We don't need 200. Let's request 50 right there. Just put a fast inserter there to kind of help out a little bit. I know that's going to pull a lot of copper off of our logistics network, but it's going to really help our blue science production just tremendously. But the fact that we have copper catching up means that this factory doesn't get stalled, which is definitely a good thing. So maybe, just maybe, we're onto something here. Oh my god, shut up. Okay. Yeah, and this is actually catching up. That's awesome. Oh, I'm so excited, you guys. Oh, I love it when stuff works like it's supposed to. So that's catching up. Our iron's catching up. Everything's grand right now. Just grand, I say. Alright, and these factories are actually... Well, this one's kind of struggling to get an output, but it's actually not going too badly. We may want to consider pausing this for just a moment, just to kind of get some of the crushed iron off the belt. But yeah, we're doing pretty well. And as this catches up, that's going to be more copper into the logistics network, which is going to be great. It'll help the whole logistics network just run more smoothly. Alright, and we are up to... That's not the right box. 10 and 9 for that, which before I started this episode, I believe I was only at 10 and 3, or like 9 and 3, something like that. We still don't have any of these going. Oh, I didn't set my inserter, did I? No, I didn't. So that'll take a little bit to catch back up. Oops. But it really shouldn't make that big of a deal, or that big of a difference. Because really we're waiting on materials anyway, so. Alright, so we've got copper going, we've got all that's caught up, which is great. Alright, and this stuff, it looks like it's still waiting on materials, which is kind of what we were expecting. But see, this is all caught up, so all of this copper, except for the little bit that's getting used, is going into the logistics network, and that's going to help tremendously. Just that extra little bit. Oh, my frame rate. Oh, my frame rate is dying. Alright, so let's go back to our copper smelting operation here. And we'll kind of see, look at all those chips. All that is just going into advanced processing units. Crazy. Just crazy. So let's go back down to here. Looks like everything's still running. I think I am going to add kind of another box like what I did over here. So let's go ahead. Let's just make a smart inserter. Or smart box. I'm also going to need some red circuit, which I probably have in the logistics network now that I think of it, but oh well, I already made it. So we'll connect those up like so. And we'll add that. Alright, and I need to add a belt to it, otherwise it's not going to do anything. Something like that. Alright, and that should empty out somewhat quickly, hopefully. Alright, groovy. Excuse me. Alright, and that's giving us even more sulfur, or a more constant thing of sulfur in the on the belt, which is great. I mean, ideally, I guess I would want to have an excess of sulfur. The only thing about having an excess of sulfur is that those boxes would eventually fill up. So really, this is probably about the right balance. Because I don't want those boxes to fill up. I mean, I could have it set up so that the excess sulfur gets turned into, well, sulfur from sulfur dust, but I really don't want to go through all the trouble of that. And this seems to be working just fine, really. I mean, if it gets to that point, I can rig something up, I guess, but like I said, I really would rather not. Alright. And it seems like this buffer system is kind of working, which is awesome. Excuse me. Jeez. Okay. And just to give you guys an update, that oil system works tremendously well. I'm at 2.5 petroleum gas. I'm at 1.6 liquid, or light oil, I mean. What is getting destroyed? Oh my god. We still have 2 turrets. I mean, construction bots are getting destroyed. Are you guys dead yet? Can you guys die? Looks like you guys are dying. Okay. I might have to dump some more construction bots up there. Anyway, to finish my thought, these tanks are just completely full. We've got plenty of oil to go around. I'm not using oil for my energy, at least not yet. I'm still working on mining that coal deposit out, which has served me very well. But yeah, we're getting an overflow of oil barrels. We have almost 500 oil barrels in reserve. That's crazy. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. So yeah, just so you know, it's working pretty well. I can actually go out there really quick. Alright. I don't want to do Logistics 3, I don't suppose there's anything that doesn't use blue science, is there? Bullet speed. Rockets. But I'm kind of low on alien tech, too. Yeah, let's do bullet speed, why not? Alright, so we're gonna head out there. And you'll notice that this train actually doesn't do full loads of oil, but that's okay. I mean, we're still transporting more than we're using, which is kind of the point, isn't it? So we've got all this set up. We only get about, what, 18 barrels every time we go over there, which is okay. It's okay. These are still producing a decent amount. They're not completely degraded anyway. And we'll wait in line for the copper train. But yeah, we should. That oil system actually works very well. I think I already figured that out in a previous playthrough. Because thinking that up came really naturally. I don't actually remember using it, but oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I used that system before. So yeah. So that's good. And this is still performing magically, which is great. I think I might have to turn my iron production off for a little bit here. Yeah, look at that. That's just full all the way up. We're actually getting a little bit of a corner penalty, it looked like there, which is fine, at least for right now. Well, maybe I don't have to turn my iron off. I don't know. It seems to be working just fine. So yeah, we'll just let that blue science kind of catch up a little bit. And then I am going to be able to start in on the rocket silos, which should be great. It should be amazing. Amazingly good. And this episode has gone on for quite a long time. So let's just double check on our modules here, kind of see where we're at. We've got Only just 2 of those. We've got 10 and 10 of these, which is great. And I suppose all the processing units are going to kind of resupply the module 2s, and that's okay. But yeah, I think we're gonna be okay, guys. So I think when I come back, I may not even put a break in here really, or might not do too much off screen. But I'm gonna ammo up, and I'm gonna drive around in my tank and shoot stuff. So it'll probably be one of those episodes, not too. Not too much me figuring stuff out like it was in this episode, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. So anyway, if you like this episode, I know it ran kind of long, but whatever. Please give it a thumbs up if you are so inclined. If you are new to the channel and you want to see more of this series and other series, please hit subscribe. Although this is episode 41, so I don't think you would just be jumping in. I don't know. But yeah, and as always, remember to take care of yourselves out there, and thank you guys so much for watching.